na wiase say utimi koton gold na oboka eno so de na minim ni di wachi Sammy Gyamfi te sa asem no munim se no sikasafa anotewa oberima wandi sima na no ye yawo nti okọ news file so ewo Joy FM na audio kasa bi koto ho o kire se kasa na opanyoma kenkan no ehu mu pepepe na ode ama no na so bi kan ho asem na se nya woda won konkoye na tu ana enko kisi na fon ho se waya ade na mu wo be ka na ye be ye na ya na ode asha na nemu.
When a man sets out to demonize you and denigrate you and to tag you with something he knows to be false, wages a persistent, sustained smear campaign against your person, and you have an opportunity to respond to that person, you don't give such a person a hug, a peck on the cheek, and a bouquet of flowers. You understand? Like Isaac Newton said in his third law of motion, for every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. Afenyo Markin got the response he deserved.
Kan foforo kra kan ho say oye extortionist they say o jisika kuntuna sisika no jeje.
There are many underlying issues between I and Afenyo Markin that you don't know and those watching don't know. I have appeared on News Farm many times. Perhaps in this country, I have held more press conferences on political issues than anybody. Have you ever heard me use the word extortion against any of my critics? Have you ever heard me? Why will I use this word now? And why have you not heard Afenyo say anything about that? Or challenge me? Or threaten to sue? So the MPP people talking, there are things you don't know.
No, ankoya ma Afenyo Markin. Nkampuri oya nsanka o onim sania Sammy Gyamfi esikasa nipa oka won ho asem 2024 kaso kafa kufuado ho kaso kafa ba mia ho anya no kwara ni ade nyina obi enim se propaganda secretary ma the NDC nti Afenyo Markin fire so press conference no ye no yemfa ne se bia propaganda na no ogusi ni refi so wa bam na so edu ba bi no papa no dwene ho ahu se da bi enu nyamo hoyi kakra bi nipa gidi ketewa bi me ma bofra ketewa we mfa manim enti fam saa enti wetu anama foforo.
Speaker, in the face of the allegations of extortion leveled against me, I have chosen to take high moral ground by submitting myself to the processes of the law. I have accordingly caused writs to be filed in suit number GT 1029/2026, entitled Osahin Alexander Afenyo Markin versus Samuel Edu Gyamfi and Multimedia Group Limited at the Accra High Court, and suit number GR/ACH/CC/C5/02/2026, entitled Osahin Alexander Afenyo Markin versus Eric Ejay.
Na no manfo France no betua na manfo no na abranti bia wo fre na Eric Ejay ono so akotene Peace FM ahoro na pepepepepe apamatare de ahye no tutu na afu asema na yiye esiko no market wasa na ina na keka bom na osidabi wode ye na anye wo ya wonja ofaye na wo yam so ye wo ya na se wanwe wo sea wonye hu aduru ma me nkire mmofere se emra wo ho na me ye mrani.
If you have a extortionist as your leader, you have a problem as a party. And I am telling you here, if Afenyo so there, you be there no.
Mema atiefo ne ahwefo nyina akwaba de ba Koda media tips sabri media ne ketri ejaye odi asempa dwumedia wato ndin chichiremu ena ne bara so amene ba pesum mprim. Enti matena gwam yinde na ayensem chiremu nkoa. Ebia na asam no wate na nso wanyam nchiremu sania. Mba be yam no feko na watie. Wodwa kasamfoni so a obehu Osahene Afenyo Markin domkuma no Dani our parliament NFA CEO for Gold Board Yura Sammy Gyamfi and Director of Communication and Senior Propagandist for NDC. You know ko title baby. Na den asem na ba ni aba ne se Honorable Afenyo Markin friends and traffic shim no the two one him IMF krate bi a wadane di de kire Ghana for say good board aton sika kokko na wabo echika 22 billion Ghana cedis 1.7 million dollars na sanchiri mu no ena Sammy Gyamfi so osa hen wagu menim ase sama o kafa me hono enya akono enye de kra na wa Afenyo Markin wutimi be ko bi asem sa hey na wa wona na manfo offices na wo sresrade ugigi scan ya de na ure fisa oba me nchen ba me nchen be bunkutu gi se me ma wiskana de na aba no me mfa nkoso ode kwa kosovo problem bi dia ma parliament na me ma sika se na parliamentarians na oye dom kuba no utisa uru kwa kutwi wo mnimu na said be good board asemi one canopy we refia na it is Sammy Gyamfi e kan asasem no na momien kutie onabo Afenyo Markin ne press conference no na fi yewia ye de Sammy Gyamfi muaya ode ama no beba efi muaya na chi no osahene Afenyo Markin watu anamon foforo bi na yemfa no ntwato na yemfa dwumade ne mrawi nti for now no momien kutie press conference onabo Afenyo Markin oye ni mra.
In fact, the Gold Board chief executive said the IMF itself did not understand the transaction. He said publicly that he thinks the IMF doesn't understand. All the economists at the IMF, he said they didn't understand. He accused my friend Koda Oponkruma, who did BCom at Kivas, that Kojo doesn't understand accounting. I did BCom. Of course, I abandoned it along the line and did my law program. But Kojo completed his BCom. BCom is accounting. He accused Kojo that he doesn't understand accounting. He said this on TV3 program. Then he went on to attack our colleague, the chartered accountant, former Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, and chair of the Public Accounts Committee, a fourth termer in Parliament, Honorable Abna Oseyasari, also accused her. Then I took the last hit. But what the Gold Board chief executive has forgotten is that when initially the fees were around 15% and the minority raised the first red flag and the press conference was held by our respected colleague Oponkruma on our behalf, there was an immediate emergency board meeting, a joint emergency board meeting by Gold Board and Bank of Ghana. And they quickly reviewed the fees to 9%. That was the first point of indication of the minority. According to them, we are ignorant. If we were that ignorant, why is it that when we raise the red flag, the 15% that they were charging, they reduced it to 9%? That was the first point. And when we escalated it through a motion on the House floor, they now went further and reduced it to 5%. So the question is, all those initial losses, now we want to put away IMF. All those initial losses, if the charges were legitimate at 15%, why didn't they remain the way they were? So the minority must be commended.
Atiefo asem si wo nsentwerefo nhimdi na se mbra dom kumano banodani osahen Afenyo Markin MP4 ofrendai winiba somebody to guano eni na obi bisas no kware I am a fofo ena edisa asebe beto ho se nia wo huni isan se won wo die gore a won sika sem no won fa ndie gore Sana IMF, International Monetary Fund. Say what was get the good uncle, you may coon good at that. Inti FS Kahun Contade. Expect. Accountants are Woguhono in your accountant Katwa. Impose Akasa or the buy no, and now some of the bet 2 way. Oh, Sammy Gyamfi, oh, 1 for 1 in few, 1 crowd 1 year credible. Hey, IMF. Internet say, Asama Abedahwa, what to tunisre and the Abasa. Say good board Aboka, $1.7 million. That's 22 billion Ghana cedis. Na we are say utimi cotton gold now boka. And so de na minim ni di wachi. Esan say wokɔ wure mu ho na akoto gold na wobeto no fo galamsey fo no ho. Nti na galamsey no etuntimi ntwa no. We establish gold board no also emrada ho nti no obi obetu gold wa asati subia se wotoma gold board. Nti galamsey no kutu a onim se me wo ba bia meton ana obi ba beto nti ene me wa kutu nso. Nti wo hwo mampani John Dramani Mahama tamono beba power 2024. Na ne nkrofo say Akufo-Addo declare state of emergency. Sammy Gyamfi no kokoye press conference o riba pra ho okujita abra kwa kote sensu bi egu votiki mu na otututu din ni ade nyina na ote sensu na se no. Na Ghana fa adwene na say. NDC bidie konwe dia insu ni nyina ne bete. Wan enne insu na potos nkan denti yen a kire fa akwa wutu gold na obekwa koton inti sa wo market no wo hode a na demand de so wo hode a wo adentra wo produce because demand no ho inti Sammy Gyamfi tis asem no munim se no sikasafa anotewa oberema wendi sima na no ye yawo nti okọ news file so ewo o friend then Joy FM na audio kasa bi koto ho na mumie nkoni nkotie Sammy Gyamfi nkomo na odi wo news file so and then your kakafafa Afenyo Markin ho o kire say kasa na Afenyo Markin kan no ehun we pepepe na odi ama no na so bi kan ho asam na say nya woda won konkoye na tu ana enko kisi na fon ho say why ade na mu wo be kan ye be ye na ya na odi ashana na mu kasa o kan wo Joy FM interest say ni o kaka yen nyina e bo apaye mumie koni nkuti Sammy Gyamfi e wo news file so.
You are CEO of a very important state institution. You are contributing greatly to the stabilization of, our economy, so to speak. And yet, when you hold a press conference, they expect the Sammy Gyamfi CEO and not the Sammy Gyamfi who was doing political campaign, speaking for his party. Your choice of words directed at the minority leader and some other persons. What do you have to say about that? Because one of your own, Vanderpoy, even had to say that you miscommunicated.
Yeah.
And then suddenly he's under siege. He's had to come and apologize.
All right. Now, I'll deal with these two issues quickly. Right now, you've hosted me for more than an hour, I guess, right?
We're into the hour now.
Have I spoken like a chief executive officer or as a
You've been dealing with numbers in ways that some people may not even grasp.
Good. So, you see, when a man sets out to demonize you and denigrate you and to tag you with something he knows to be false, wages a persistent, sustained smear campaign against your person, and you have an opportunity to respond to that person, you don't give such a person a hug, a peck on the cheek, and a bouquet of flowers. You understand? Like Isaac Newton said in his third law of motion, For every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. Afenyo Markin got the response he deserved. I never insulted him, and nobody can show me one word that I used that was insulting.
Even at the start, you seem to suggest that you don't know who he is.
It's part
a setting Afenyo Markin.
Yeah. That is how you respond to somebody who projects you as being liable of a criminal offense and says that you will not be able to meet your bail conditions. And
this is all he said. Let's listen to Afenyo Markin.
But what did I do? Me too. I just compared him to Koda Oponkroma, Abena Sare, Koda Oponkroma, Abena Sare, and me, Anta, all of whom are his colleagues in Parliament, MPP people, who have criticized us. And I said, when you listen to those criticisms, you see maybe lack of information, but they don't make it personal. But when you listen to him, you hear malice for Sammy Gyamfi. Either than that, who can read these IMF reports and even suggest that Sammy Gyamfi will have to meet onerous bail conditions to the tune of 22 billion? Because this issue is not about Sammy Gyamfi. So you see the smear campaign there. You get my point? Then he says, Obi Antongo de Moka. In this world, the most cheapest thing to trade is water. You went and supervised 4 consecutive years of losses at Ghana Water Limited when you were board chairman from 2017 to 2024. A cumulative loss of 3.3 billion. You were sent to ECG as board chair. You supervised another loss of 8.2 billion cedis in 2024. What on Suaboka? What on Kenya Boka? You are not asked to meet any onerous bail conditions. Sammy Gyamfi that has not incurred any loss. It is me who will meet onerous bail conditions. So that's the point. So if the audit exonerates you from the claims he makes, but why should you reply in such manner? No, but that is why I'm saying that just like he can criticize me, he's also not beyond reproach. You get my point? So Sammy Gyamfi should be criticized. Afenyo Markin should not be criticized. This is not an insult. I am showing you that this is your record. Cumulative loss of 3.3 billion at Ghana Water, 8.2 billion ECG. You are not facing any criminal action and onerous bail terms. Why should you project that on me when I have not made a loss?
Ntikasa Sammy Gyamfi ekaini. Kekan foforo kra kan ho. Say oye extortionist. They say ojeji sika. Kuntuna sisika no jeje. Na ankoya ma Afenyo Markin. Nkampuri oya sanka o. Onim senia Sammy Gyamfi esikasa. Nipa okan won asem 2024. Kaso kafa kufuado ho, kaso kafa ba omia ho anya no kwara ni ade nyina. Obi enim say propaganda secretary ma the NDC. Inti Afenyo Markin fire so press conference no ye no. Yen fa ne say bia propaganda na ogusi ni refi so wa bam. Nanso edu baabi no papa no dwene ho ahu se da bi enu nyam hoyi kakra bi nipa gidi ketewa bi me ma bofra ketewa we mfa manim entiatie fam saa enti wetu ana manfoforo na no manfoforo anso no betu ana manfoforo no na abranti bi a wofre na rekagei ono so akotene Peace FM ahoro na pepepepepe apamatare di ahye no tutu na afu asema yiye esiko no marketwa saa
twa wo kra ne say Afenyo Markin ye I say wa unia keto Sammy Gyamfi o see the bail condition be honors and order Chairman General, that's the big question. And I know Sammy can say Afenyo is a extortionist. Okay, Sammy speech no o make here na or so a blackmailer. And the idea na Sammy Gyamfi make it that you can say that statement no very deep. It mokwa minority na was a mushia. Na mubusa mo say dey na be mo bi etimi free leader so a blackmailer or a extortionist. Oh yes, it is there. Open my video. Oh, me famo na bo. What I say? Intimesa. If you have a extortionist as your leader, you have a problem as a party. And I am telling you here, if Afenyo so there, you be there no. Chairman General, one say a personal, ye free gold board called personal. This is only Sammy Nenya. Yes, you any Nenya. Oh, na sa dia no. Oh, Debbie. Adia no start here, you know, only Sammy na kwa ne personal and ye gold board. And I yes say yenim so ye extortionist, so it is better he keep mute. So when nyai na se kukuru ni jaya chama general keka ni nyai me no ka se sisi ameti hayi ne dealings a oye wa ban we mu nyina. Let me tell you one thing, chama general chama tie mi ye pa
because that can be bisa
meba chama general won say RTI na ye pass ye no chama general RTI na ye pass ye no eye emra say oye timamuni a ote sisi ye ubetimi the attract institution bi say omoma hu omo dwumadi even ye sika sem the financials na ebibia ye de bema na wapa akohwe enu bi na Suleiman Brahma mo twro de call Rosa abujade information no mo ko carry ne say do ma conduct research ye inflate ya ye we ya na nya research do omo no ye no omo the RT and the information no mo be post research man otimi chiri Sammy me koka bi me kura ye di aba me office me de be mo na me for mo ma me ka se mo njo e na wo Afenyo hey don't go there Afenyo don't go there
okay mami
oh what a team neba what a team neba what the mama fast asem we see na onim de America no or there you dare him again what a team and RTI team na office bi o mo de ko just o mo di ko wi na ma ye negotiators na mo na machiri Semo, that man I don't want to be emotional this morning.
Chief executive.
Oh, Fatun Chain. Chairman.
Peace FM.
Nina na kaka bomo no sedabi. Wode ye na ye wo ya, wonja wo faye. Na wo yam so ye wo ya, na so wanwen wo se a, wonye hu aduru. Ma me nkire mmofere se, emra wo ho na me ye mrani. Me di mra, me no mra. Mera neda mera me shemra tare enti bumi enkoti anamofofra osahen Afenyo Markin watu na ode sa mbofra banui mranti wei anwanu ye dingsen okonfoyiri ode wo mabefa so na sa asem isi wo mrahye begwam enti mi etu ho de enko mrahye begwam ni enkoti osahen Afenyo Markin the mighty minority leader no nsema oda na di e wo parliament kwan a ode mfra banui e ba befa so oda ho di pa ho ntoma e de kire Parliament House.
Speaker, in the face of the allegations of extortion leveled against me, I have chosen to take high moral ground by submitting myself to the processes of the law. I have accordingly caused writs to be filed in suit number GT 1029/2026, entitled Osahin Alexander Afenyo Markin versus Samuel Edu Gyamfi and Multimedia Group Limited at the Accra High Court, and suit number GR/ACH/CC/C5/02/2026, entitled Osahin Alexander Afenyo Markin versus Eric Ejay and Peace FM at the Chimota Circuit Court. I have every confidence that in the fullness of time, the court will make the appropriate determination on these matters. Mr. Speaker.
Yo, what's with you here? What you know, confano? Afenyo Markin sa no ma watuni. Or the mofra be mranto wa be ni be famra kwanso. You. Na no na Sammy Gyamfi say, "Hey, Afenyo, saka yi den ko bom kakra na mabo a na ka yi di mrakwan de wo de be kofa mrakwan so ai sa e den mo ba mo ye ba pa we matwu mi wo fam sa na wo ye na wo friend na fragbera hwan ni na yi wo friend na manhia fama manhia empimpo wo friend na onabunapo na po na mo na po a 2024 obo ba omiachi domi na ka o ba beje konye efinsem anyeye sa na o se makoka se mi nti o de mi twu fam sa ma memfin nyina yekuru wo so sa na ba ba yemi ana en na me fast na makodwantoa nti dwantoa bi akoso so Afenyo se da bi na makane de sa na meye no se na be yo chine bi se wo de kansema afo bi ho a na waka no kware wom IMF asema mbɛkan no ana gold board cap mabɔ no ɛnyɛ me Afenyo Markin na mekubu nsankonta no what I say IMF ɛna de sa dwumedi no bɛto hɔ na yɛkɔ ma no na ɛyɛ no kware nti na mebɛka ho asɛm na yɛ minority no yɛnde ne sɛ yɛbɛbusi aban na wayɛ ade papa de ama ɔman kronkron Ghana yɛ mɛgyegye mahama so sɛ mahama wona ubu market na wanchi nti wayɛ ade da bi wonfom so ɛna yɛbɛka ho asɛm na wasesa fi ho sɛ wɔso nua wotwasa no nim sɛ na echi akyera minority in parliament and as opposition in parliament yɛadwuma no sɛ yɛbɛtakra aban na yɛfɔ so no ma ne nan asipiri na Ghana fa nya so mfa so yɛadwuma ni nti yɛde ba yɛde bɛto dwa ma Ghana fo tie no ɛyɛ yɛasɛde sɛ yɛyɛ ɛna yɛyɛ yɛntwa asɛm anto so sɛ na wotwa asɛm atomi so yi nti me no mmra ɛna ɛbɛhyia nti mpren na Afenyo Markin anamon wo tu afa Eric Ejei ene ni nua Sammy Gyamfi mmoa wo de man no anamon wo tu nsɛm wo kan wo radio station New Fad ne Peace FM no anama Afenyo Markin sɛ oretuni obra kyerɛ debi obra na bɛkyerɛ nti yɛbɛhwɛ baabi a nsunsuan ɔde brode ho ɛbɛfa yɛde atiachi kutu de bɛtɔ fam biara yɛde bɛba bɛsum yɛtiefo ne yɛahwɛfo nti mpren de ogira mmara no dendenden ɛna wakenkan siuto a wɔde ma ne nyinaa kaka ho nsɛm nyinaa si nti wo yɛrekagye na wotia wotimi sɛ yiw Afenyo Markin ɔde ma kogira mmara ni mampa yiw nti wo lawyer sa na wa start yɛ dai prepare wo tɛ dan we dan mmara no de obafra wani no ko gina ho enti Afenyo Markin nia ode ababetuga impreni na chopa ne ade ne nam wi ne ade ahomrache wo ba mafo pon ne ade no osela ode ye na ye wo ya wonya faye ma me nkire mofra banu yi se mmra wo mayimu Koda media tv suni wo fra me ka chiri agya ye odi asempa dwumadi eyensem kyerem na me de abeso